Hey everyone, Seem here from the channel Handsome Smiles. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions of a sample, and it's from the History of Attar collection from the house of Areej Doré. So I was kindly sent this collection, the sample collection from Peter from the channel Fragrance View. I'm sure you guys are already subscribed to him. He sent me this back in November, and it's just been sitting in my drawer, and I told myself I'll come back and do a return on YouTube, and this will be my first video, but that just never materialized for one reason or another. But yeah, today I'm going to do it. So let's open this. I've already opened it and looked inside, but I've not smelt any of the perfume just yet. But I have to say, it's quite a beautiful presentation. So it comes in this really nice sort of suede box, and it opens up like this. There's a pamphlet here. I'll read that in a second. And then you've got the spray attars in here. So I wouldn't say they're attars, they're samples. And I believe, let's read why they call attars. There's 7 samples here, and I'm going to do a first impressions of one of them today. So let's look at the pamphlet. Over here is just the information and social links, and this says Areej Doré by Russian Adam. And these are the notes of the fragrances, but I'm not going to look at them just yet. I'm going to try and do a blind first impressions and then see if I can pick out any notes, and then we'll read the note breakdown afterwards. And over here is got a little bit of an introduction to the collection, so let me give that a read. The History of Attar collection. The history of the Indian Attar collection in spray format is a new generation view on one of the most amazing perfume cultures of the world. Various traditional Indian attars made by water distillation in a copper pot were taken as the foundation of this collection. A plethora of precious and rare ingredients were added, giving life to 7 breathtaking compositions that you are about to discover. We welcome you to the world of attars in a spray format. So that does set a great scene, and quite excited to actually see what they're like. Personally, for me, I enjoy wearing attar in the oil format, the traditional way. I've worn that since as a child, and especially in the last maybe 6-7 years when I've been really deep into attars and oud oils. I've really enjoyed wearing them in the oil format. Not too sure how I feel about the spray format of attars. I know some companies have tried to do it. I've not really gone down that route because they can be quite expensive, and if I'm spending that much money, I'd rather just get the oil. But let's do a first impressions, and I'm going to work my way through from left to right, but today is going to be just on the one, and this one is called Mitti. And considering it's a Indian inspired spray format, Mitti in my language means earth, so I'm presuming this smells like earth. So let's give this a spray on my wrist, and I believe Peter has already sampled these and done a review on his channel, so these have already been sprayed before, so they should spray first time. So this is Le Mitti. Let's see what this smells like. Oh my days. Going from the clear juice, I thought this would be like a really tame, earthy smell. This smells to me like walking into like a really old library with loads of old books, and the books are super dry, and there's just like dust everywhere. It smells really old. For me, this sort of reminds me of like when I was a child. I used to like go over to my grandparents' house, and as a child, I'm like 4 or 5 years old. I'll just run around the house, and sometimes I start exploring the house, and at that age the house just seemed massive and it was like an adventure. And I'd go into like my grandparents' bedroom, and I'll look through their stuff, and that's the sort of smell that I used to get. That's this really old smell of stuff like they had leather books or leather jackets, or there was like just old possessions that they had for a really long time. That's the sort of smell I'm getting from here. So the Mitti, the smell that I'm getting is like old suede sort of smell with a touch of earthiness. The earthiness, limity. So I thought it would smell like earth, but it doesn't massively smell like earth. It's very, very subtle. The most biggest aspect I'm getting from this is like a suede note or like a leather note. And there's a hint of like a smokiness, a smoky leather. This is quite nice, but it is quite abrasive and quite sharp. So from an artistic perspective, I think this smells lovely. Now, would I be able to wear this casually? I don't think so. I think the fragrance of this type, I think you'll have to wear formally. There's like a smell of like oil and grease or petrol sort of smell as well. This fragrance is super masculine. So imagine like a guy wearing a old leather suede or a leather jacket, working on a car, and the smell of oil and petrol. Oh, okay. Let's see what the note breakdown is for Le Mitti. So, Le Mitti, a single note composition created by the unique traditional Indian method of distilling dry clay in a copper pot. Le Mitti is not a perfume, but rather a bottle emotion that represents the moment of first rain drops hitting the dry clay soil. Very interesting. So he's not really given a note breakdown, but it's rather like a composition, a single note composition. So I have no idea what he's used in order to create like a concept fragrance. That concept is when the first raindrops hit the dry clay soil. Personally, for me, I don't really get this smell of rain hitting the ground. But then again, this is inspired by Indian perfumery, and I don't live in India, and I've never really been in India at an age where I can remember rain hitting the ground. There's only been one time I've been to India, and I was about 6 years old, and we were there just before the monsoon season hit, and it started raining one night. I do remember slightly of that time, but I was 6 years old, so I can't really remember the smell as much. But it doesn't remind me as much of what I do remember of the rain and the soil. I don't really get it from this perfume. What I'm getting from this is super dry, slight earthiness, but mostly like a smoky leather. That's what I'm sort of getting. So that's my first impressions of Le Mitti from the house of Areej Doré, looking at the history of attar collection. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave me a like and a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. Until next time, my friends, see you later.